Hunut Part 1, The Origin of the Atlantis Legend. Where and how was it first told? Have you ever heard of the Atlantis legend, one of the greatest mysteries of human history? So how did the story of this lost continent come about? Is Atlantis just a myth, or was it a civilization that really existed? The origin of the Atlantis legend dates back to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Plato mentions Atlantis in detail in his works Timaeus and Critias, written in 360 BC. According to him, Atlantis was a huge island kingdom with advanced technologies and a superior civilization. However, it was destroyed by being submerged in the waters as a result of a supernatural disaster. According to Plato's narrative, Atlantis was located west of the Pillars of Hercules, Strait of Gibraltar, and was destroyed by the gods after a great war around 900 years before the Trojan War, 9000 BC. According to legend, Atlantis was a civilization with magnificent palaces, temples decorated with gold and silver, and a highly developed infrastructure. However, there is an important question here. Did Plato describe Atlantis as a place that really existed, or did he just create a symbolic story? Some historians think that he created this narrative to teach a moral lesson. Atlantis may symbolize the punishment of a civilization that was overconfident and corrupted by the gods. On the other hand, some researchers argue that Plato wrote this story inspired by real historical events. In particular, the Minoan civilization, which was destroyed by a massive volcanic eruption in the Mediterranean around 1600 BC, and the Thera explosion on the island of Santorini bear great similarities to the Atlantis legend. So was there really such a civilization, or is Atlantis just a myth? In the next section, we will examine Plato's description of Atlantis in detail and look at the clues that this lost continent may have really existed. Chapter 2, Plato's definition of Atlantis. Did the lost continent really exist? Plato was the person who introduced the legend of Atlantis to the world. However, how did this great philosopher define Atlantis? Was he talking about a continent that really existed, or did he just create a philosophical narrative? Atlantis is described in great detail in Plato's works Timaeus and Critias. According to him, Atlantis had a magnificent civilization 9,000 years ago. The city was designed in the form of rings with a large temple in the center. It had wide water channels, buildings decorated with gold and silver, huge ports, and an advanced management system. It is said that Atlantis was founded by Poseidon and that its people were descended from him. The Atlanteans, who were initially described as a virtuous and wise society, became greedy and arrogant over time. The gods buried Atlantis in the depths of the sea with a great disaster to end this corruption. However, a question arises here. Was Plato describing a real continent, or was it just a metaphorical story? Some historians argue that Plato invented Atlantis to teach a moral lesson. According to them, Atlantis was an opposing civilization created to glorify Athena's virtuous rule. However, some scientists and researchers think that Plato may have been describing a real historical event. Especially ancient maps and submarine discoveries support various theories about the Atlantis legend. According to some, Atlantis was in the Bermuda Triangle, according to others, under the ice of Antarctica, and according to others on the island of Thera, Santorini, in the Aegean Sea. So how many of these theories are true? Could it really be a lost continent? In the third part, we will search for traces of Atlantis by examining archaeological and geological evidence. Part 3, Traces of Atlantis. What do archaeological and geological evidence say? Did Atlantis really exist, or is it just a myth? Scientists, historians, and researchers searching for this lost continent have been following the traces of Atlantis all over the world for years. So, what is the most important evidence found so far? 1. Santorini, Thera Island. The Big Bang Theory. The island of Santorini in the Aegean Sea was wiped off the map by a massive volcanic eruption in the 1600s BC. This eruption caused the collapse of the Minoan civilization and created a massive tsunami. Could this event have formed the basis of the Atlantis legend? Scientists think that Plato was actually referring to the Minoan civilization when describing Atlantis. 2. Bimini Road, Mysterious Structures. Under the ocean. Could Bimini Road, located in the Atlantic Ocean near the Bahamas, be traces of Atlantis? Discovered in 1968, this stone road consists of giant stone blocks thought to belong to an ancient civilization. Some researchers claim that it is a natural formation, while others claim that it could be the remains of an ancient city that is sunk underwater. 3. Mysterious continents on ancient maps. Some old maps show land masses in the Atlantic Ocean that do not exist today. For example, the famous Piri Reis map and the Orontes Phineas map show Antarctica without ice. Could Atlantis be a continent under ice? 4. Plato's description in modern satellite images. The circular city with water channels in the center described by Plato appears in some areas in modern satellite images. Could the Rishat structure, eye structure, in West Africa in particular carry traces of Atlantis? All these findings suggest that Atlantis may have really existed. However, no definitive evidence has yet been found. So if Atlantis is real, why was it kept such a deep secret? In the fourth section, we will take a look at conspiracy theories and alternative views. Chapter 4, Atlantis and Hidden, Facts, Conspiracies, and Alternative Theories. In addition to scientific research on the Atlantis legend, many conspiracy theories and alternative views have also been put forward about this lost continent. So how realistic are these theories? Why might the existence of Atlantis have been concealed? 1. Was Atlantis an advanced civilization? Some researchers suggest that Atlantis was not only an advanced civilization, but also a society with advanced technology. Claims such as energy crystals, flying vehicles, and the use of electromagnetic power are frequently voiced, especially by spiritual communities. 2. Was Atlantis an alien colony? Another popular theory is that Atlantis was connected to extraterrestrial beings. According to some esoteric teachings, the people of Atlantis were individuals who had reached a high level of consciousness and could use telepathy and spiritual energy. For this reason, some researchers claim that the destruction of Atlantis was the result of conscious intervention. 3. Did the Masons and secret societies know the secret of Atlantis? Some historians and conspiracy theorists claim that the knowledge of Atlantis was kept by the Masons, the Knights Templar, and other esoteric societies. It is even claimed that these societies preserve the lost wisdom of Atlantis in their secret teachings. 4. Clues to Atlantis in ancient texts. Clues to Atlantis are found not only in Plato's works, but also in ancient texts of different civilizations. Could Egyptian hieroglyphs, the Hindu Vedas, and even Inca legends tell of the existence of a civilization similar to Atlantis? 5. Why did Atlantis disappear? The biggest theory about the collapse of Atlantis is that a great natural disaster submerged it. However, some theorists believe that there is a greater secret behind the destruction of Atlantis. Could the reason for its destruction be to prevent humanity from accessing this information? Was Atlantis truly an advanced civilization, and was it destroyed by some forces to hide this information? After all these questions, we are now coming to the end of the legend. In the fifth and final section, we will discuss what the legend of Atlantis means to humanity and its effects today. Chapter 5. What can we learn from the legend of Atlantis? Its reality and its effects on our present day. Although it has not yet been clearly proven whether Atlantis really existed, this legend has a much greater meaning for humanity. Throughout history, different cultures have learned lessons from the wisdom and fall of Atlantis. 1. The universal message of Atlantis. According to Plato's narrative, the people of Atlantis were initially wise and virtuous. However, over time, they became corrupt, greedy for power. This led to their end. This story may actually be the story of the fall of a powerful civilization, not just a lost continent. 2. Are there traces of Atlantis today? Although there are no concrete findings proving the existence of Atlantis, its philosophy and wisdom continue to live on in today's world. In esoteric teachings, ancient wisdom schools and spiritual traditions are seen as structures that hide the lost secrets of Atlantis. 3. Modern technology and Atlantis theories. Some theories put forward about Atlantis contain interesting connections with today's technologies. For example, it is claimed that Tesla's idea of wireless energy transfer may be connected to the lost wisdom of Atlantis. So, Are we really rediscovering a technology that was lost in the past? 4. Can history repeat itself? The collapse of Atlantis teaches us one of the greatest lessons of history. Even if an advanced civilization has knowledge and power, it cannot escape extinction if it abuses this power. As technological developments progress rapidly in today's world, are we making the same mistakes again? Conclusion and call. The Atlantis legend is not only a story of the past, but also a warning for humanity. If Atlantis really existed, what should we learn from what happened to it? If you are interested in such mysterious and deep topics, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Do you think Atlantis really existed? I'm waiting for your thoughts in the comments. Blast off globe.